And like the title here actually says, non-essential humans. We are literally divided into the essentials and the non-essentials. And many times who was the essential also seem to depend on your class. Yeah? You're a lawyer, you're an essential human. You can go to court. You are this poor mama selling guavas on the street. What the hell? Will beat the hell out of you as you're a non-essential human.
It was one of those weirdest categorizations of human beings.
Ever.
You're non-essential. If a parent is the most essential component of their family, why do you call them that woman carrying what is that, mangoes on her head?
Seems like guavas.
Guavas. She's the most essential person to her people.
Yeah, she probably feeds, whatever she's doing is to feed her children, educate them.
You call her non-essential, you dehumanize her. It was the most dehumanized language that we adopted in COVID-19.
Yeah.
Because these people in their different spaces are super essential.
True.
And, we lost about maybe 20 people before we had our first case of COVID-19.
Because of the handling.
Because of the handling. We lost more people to handling of the crisis.
Behind every book is a hidden story, a conflict, a question unresolved, a dream waiting to be told. On Voice in Print, we uncover the minds behind the words, exploring the writing process, the creative bursts, and the quiet obsession that drives authors to transform fleeting thoughts into lasting pages.
Welcome back, dear viewers of Voice in Print. I hope you've enjoyed the previous episodes we've had. The catalog keeps growing every now and then, and we hope that we're going to bring many more authors. And if the authors you want us to have, or publishers of papers, it's not just books, it's even very, very interesting papers, academic or normal research, always let us know and we'll have them. So I am back with someone we've hosted before, and that's Yusuf Serunkuma. Yusuf is a perennial author, if I could say that. And before he authored Surrounded, there are other books he authored, including this and this. So I want us to briefly look at these books. Each of these came out in 2022, right?
I think so.
Yes. Yeah, Yusuf Serunkuma is here with me. He is the author of these. Yusuf is a columnist, a journalist, a researcher.
I couldn't say that. I didn't study journalism, but I worked as a journalist.
As a journalist.
Yeah. I was editor at The Independent.
And right now you're a doctor, right?
Is it important for this conversation?
Yeah, I don't know. Ugandans float their title. You know who I am. So at the end of the day, I'm here with Yusuf. So let's start with this book. The title of this book is very catchy.
Non-essential
humans.
Yeah.
This is on governance, ruin, and survival in COVID-19 Uganda. COVID seems a long time ago.
Oh, by the way, now talk about the title. I need to credit you, Godwin. I remember one time when this book was being finalized, you met me in the parking lot at Miser, and I had 3 titles. Yeah. And I tested them with you, and you chose non-essential humans.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah. So the thing is, COVID seems a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it's just weird how COVID, the Ugandan state, the Ugandan establishment handled COVID. And like the title here actually says, non-essential humans. We are literally divided into the essentials and the non-essentials. And many times who was the essential also seem to depend on your class. Yeah? You're a lawyer, you're an essential human. You can go to court. You are this poor mama selling guavas on the street. What the hell? Will beat the hell out of you as you're a non-essential human.
It was one of those weirdest categorizations of human beings.
Ever.
You're non-essential. If a parent is the most essential component of their family, why do you call them that woman carrying what is that, mangoes on her head?
Seems like guavas.
Guavas. She's the most essential person to her people.
Family. Yeah, she probably feeds, whatever she's doing is to feed her children, educate them.
You call her non-essential, you dehumanize her. It was the most dehumanized language that we adopted in COVID-19.
Yeah.
Because these people in their different spaces are super essential.
True.
And, we lost about maybe 20 people before we had our first case of COVID-19.
Because of the handling.
We lost more people to handling of the crisis than we actually did. And this is because this country that a small country such as Malawi, which is way poorer than us, didn't close down its country because the activists in that country went to court. And the president, I think somebody representing the president was asked whether he had the ability to give food to the people that they're going to be locked down. And he said, I can't guarantee food to everybody, and said they don't lock down the country. It should be an individual decision. So I think they locked down for 20 days. And after that, it was no more business.
But then there's the other thing about this that seems to go under the radar. It's just the world. How I initially supported the lockdown. Yeah. When COVID-19 hit the country, all of us were really, I don't want to say all of us. I was really one of those guys who were scared. So I have some respiratory issues. So for me, it was like, this is a death sentence coming my way. So I was literally scared and thinking, oh, these truck drivers, lock them down and all that. But then you see that maybe there was a need for us to get homegrown solutions.
Yeah, and that's the thing I deal with that book. We're a copy and paste country. When the World Health Organization was talking about lockdown, it wasn't thinking about us. And you see, I was lucky to live between two countries during the entire COVID thing. I was in Germany, partly, and here. And I was in Germany for the last half of COVID-19. And I understood what lockdown meant. When World Health Organization said lockdown, they were talking about, in their thinking, it was Europe. It wasn't us.
Lockdown Europe.
Because in Europe, you get things delivered to your doorstep. Everybody has a bell on their door with their names and a telephone. Every single apartment has that facility.
And the address is known.
You can order straight from your bedroom. A meal will be delivered. A friend of mine was in Uganda and I was in Germany, and they ordered me food right from here to be delivered to my address.
Wow.
So they were talking about lockdown those countries. If you wanted to buy appliances like these cameras, you would order to the shop, and they'll give you a time slot to go pick it up. So when they think about locking down, they didn't think about us. In those countries, everybody has insurance. Everybody has medical insurance.
Yeah.
Ambulances work. They'll pick you up.
Yeah.
Many of those people, they can do home office. When they talk about home office, everything is digital in those places. They work via. I actually learned that Germany was the last to digitize. Many other countries across Europe are more digital than Germany. It's where you can talk about home office. You find somebody working at a factory and is measuring glasses to be cut in their house on a computer. They set out the equipment the way it appears in their office. So when they talk about lockdown, quarantine, work at home, they really meant, in their vocabulary, essential didn't have non-essential. No, everybody was essential in the sense that we needed you to work at NHS. So you're essential at NHS. So that gave you a bit of an edge because they wanted you. It didn't disadvantage any member of their society.
It wasn't that if you're not this.
No.
It was that because you are this for now.
Exactly, for now. You were essential as the project wanted you to be essential.
Okay.
They didn't have blind categorizations. You are non-essential, so you get a pass. You are essential. If you work in the fire department, you are essential when there's a fire.
So this essay tells the story.
You're needed.
This book has the essays that tell the story.
No, exactly. So those essays are my anger with the way the entire thing was running. I mean, those essays were published in The Observer from the very beginning.
Of COVID.
Because a little curiosity helps. Be curious a little bit and be skeptical. When you hear these things being said, like, is World Health Organization really a World Health Organization? Do they think about us too? So
Are we in their world?
And I mean, I visited my friend Dr. Peter Mjenyi in Fort Portal. And if you get into the village during COVID-19, if you say those kids should study at home, if you lock down kids in the villages, what do you mean locking them down? Because if they're in the house, they'll have to go to the gardens. Are the gardens locked down? And they'll meet in the market squares in the afternoon. They have to fetch water from the well.
Public well.
They have to go to... How do you lock down an entire country where 70% of them are agrarian? What do you mean by long down agrarian people? 7% are agrarian people. But you see our leaders in Kampala, I think the entire country is urbanized. These are agrarian people whose lives depend on tilling the land.
The day they don't...
They have to pick food. They have to pick firewood. Water, I speak from the village borehole or the village well, where everybody has to go. So what do you mean when you lock them down? And you lock down an entire country where 70% of these people live on tilling the land. And then the other half live hand to mouth.
Just to pause, my biggest fear, this is 2025, my biggest fear is that if we went back to 2019, 2020, same COVID situation.
Yeah.
When I hear the president speak and the people around him and the government people in Uganda, it seems like the president has hardly made a speech since then where he doesn't self-congratulate for handling COVID-19.
Oh, they even gave an award.
Yeah.
In Parliament in the course of the pandemic.
So what I feel is like, we live in a different world with the Western world. But is it also possible that even within Uganda, we are living in different worlds? There's a world of Yusuf Serunkuma and Godwin Toko who are able to understand that Uganda is beyond Kampala, that Uganda has people in Bukoma and Simbi and all that. It's not that the president doesn't know about Bukoma and Simbi. He knows that. But then when he makes the proclamations like the ones he did during COVID-19, that disadvantage those people more severely as it did, do you think it ever crosses his mind that not everyone, I saw him running in his house and saying this is how you work out, and someone said, hold up, the president's house is bigger than the football field in my small community. So like, does he ever imagine that you're living in a country where some people open the door and they jump on their bed? Like that's it. Like in Katanga, in maybe Chimombasa,
exactly.
Like it's those houses, and it's not like those are the exceptions. It's probably like that's the rule. Like more Ugandans live like that than not. So why do you think he misses that?
I mean, I'm going to go back to the conversation I had with you before about governments which are not put in power by the people themselves.
Okay. That's the one we had about Surrounded, your other book.
Museveni is not our president. Museveni is a Mzungu president. He's a worker. So for him, what matters more is that he's fulfilling
the obligation
that the Mzungu want at the moment. You take the example of Tanzania. They had a man in John Pombe Magufuli. He just said these things don't work here because he was their president. He was responsive to... Malawi had just gone through something. They had a man who wanted to be responsive to the demands of the people. But you see, that's the pain of 40 years in power, is that, with power, you can get away with anything. You can get whatever you want with power. There's zero pushback. So even when Museveni thinks about the possibility of pushback, but he knows what matters to me more is to please
the other powers, not the other power.
Museveni is not accountable to us. No, he's never been accountable to Uganda. He's not. He's accountable to those people. They matter much more to us. He would sound, Pan-Africanist, and he would threaten. He says Muzungu are insufferable. He's like the American public relations officers. They will say, Israel is insufferable. If Netanyahu lies all the time. But what do you want, sir? What can I do for you? That's what American presidents do. When they're first with Netanyahu, you remember the hot mic one time when Barack Obama was talking to Sarkozy? Sarkozy then was the prime minister, was president of France. And Sarkozy goes, there's a hot mic, goes, this man Netanyahu is a liar. And then Barack Obama goes, you have to pity me. I talk to him all the time. That's how they feel. But when the man shows up, they'll be like, what do you want, sir? We can do it for you. That's our president. He'll have those loud sentences, Mzungu are insufferable. You can get out of my country. But then quietly, he'll be like, what do you guys want, sir? I can gladly give it to you. You want mercenaries in Central African Republic? I'll send them. You want mercenaries in Somalia? I'll send them. You want mercenaries in Sudan? I'll send them. You want some in Afghanistan? I have them. You want some in Nigeria? I will send them. How many refugees do you want to bring? 1 million. I will take them. That's our president.
Yeah.
You see, but that's not our president. This is what happened in COVID-19. Whatever proclamation
came from the other side.
Came from, one of the funny stories, this will blow your mind. One of the funny stories that happened to me in COVID-19 after publishing this book was a story I learned from a Ugandan virologist. He said to me that he had spent some time in the US with Anthony Fauci. They worked together with Anthony Fauci.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Anthony Fauci then was a celebrity doctor
COVID.
passing proclamations as regards COVID-19.
Yes.
Now, he said Fauci would call him via Zoom and they spent 2 hours talking about the virus and what should be done. This is a Ugandan, a retired virologist. He would spend hours with Anthony Fauci, advising Fauci and his team to say, well, it's a virus. It behaves like this, behaves like that. You have to do this, do that. And then Fauci will go make the pronouncements.
But in Uganda?
And Uganda will be waiting for Fauci. And Fauci is getting his advice from a Ugandan virologist. It's funny how this country... And I remember asking this guy, did you ever consult by the Ugandan government?
No.
He said, no. In Uganda, people are looking at jobs. They don't look at knowledge. So if you're out of the picture, you're out of the picture. Because if they over-consult you, maybe you might be considered important to come and take their jobs. No, they don't. But it was such a telling irony that a guy sitting in one of the villages of Uganda is being consulted by American celebrity doctor
To make proclamations that Uganda quickly
Uganda will implement without question. It was a funny thing to ever happen to me.
Okay, so now let me wind it up with this one. How much is this book?
That book it's a paperback. It goes at, I think, 30K, maybe depending on the store where you're buying it.
So this is Mahiri?
I think Mahiri sells most of our books. But surrounded, the book that we spoke about some time back is a hardback. It only sells in hardback.
Yes.
So it's beautiful too. We can give it as a present. This has nice paperback also. It's cheaper than, I think it's 30 or 25, depending on where you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, finally, we talk about this. So I read this book and I liked it so much. One, because for Agora, the organization I work with, I did some work myself in Western Uganda. I've been to Hoima a couple of times to see how much oil exploration activities have affected the people before the first drop. Before you get their first truck that leaves and says, Ugandan oil has left for the market, Ugandan oil has left for the fuel pumps. Just how many people's lives have been altered irreparably. So, what's this book about? Are these still... this is a collection of papers, right?
Yeah, I mean, those are six authors. By that time, all of us were PhD students.
Okay.
Oh, there's one PhD. Eria Serwajja was really PhD.
Yes.
But all the others were PhD students then. I think most of them have graduated.
Okay.
If not all of them.
Okay.
Because that's a long time ago. That's 2017. That's when we did the field work.
But the book came out in 2022.
21, I think. Yeah, I mean, it took a bit of time because of the politics of power. Maybe one time we'll talk about the thing called knowledge production, where knowledge became a product which has to be sold on the market. It took longer because I think first we sent the book to Z.
Z is based in South Africa?
I think it's British. There used to be a thing called Z.
Yes.
I think it collapsed and they declined to do it. And then I think that's when we said we can do it locally. And we did it with the Editor House facility.
Okay.
But the fieldwork was done in 2017. And we were interested in, before the first drop, what has happened.
Yeah. Let me just read for those who buy the copies of this book. The 7 authors, the 7 publishers of papers, writers of the papers that you're going to encounter are Robert Muwanguzi, who wrote Welcoming the Curse, Questioning Governance, and Human Rights in Hoima and Bulisa After Oil. Then you're going to also encounter Peter Kasaija, who wrote the paper From Homesteads to Houses, Oil Modernity and Conflicted Understanding of Resettlement. You're also going to encounter David Niendo Shimba, who wrote We won't have oil for lunch. Contending debate over livelihoods in Uganda's oil-rich Albertine Graben. Then there is Priscilla Mwanda, who wrote, When oil wells were seen, our children became invisible. You're also going to encounter Doreen Kobusinje, who wrote, Is oil only for men? Eviction, compensation, erasure of women in Western Uganda. And of course, the 2 editors, Disposable Humans, Hoima's Oil, Land Rush, and Capitalism Violence. That's Eria Serwajja. And finally, Yusuf Serunkuma, who write the paper Crazy Poppers, State Hesitance and the Violence of Compensation in Uganda's Oil. Let's talk about your paper. This when I was reading this book, at some point...
Somebody should be a movie from my paper.
At some point, it feels like, is this comical Is this supposed to be funny? Is this so? Like this whole book has these stories of someone is given 100 million as compensation for their land. So you're talking about someone whose annual earning is what? Maybe like 10 million?
No. Maybe 500K.
500K annually.
1 million, yeah.
Or let's say 3 million. Then this gentleman who goes and buys a boda boda and he has never ridden a boda boda. And then he crashes in the truck and dies. There's another one who interestingly bought a boda boda and he starts riding it off because the shop that sells the boda boda is not where the number plates are sold. So you have to go and fill the process with URA. And as he drives past the traffic officer stops him and says, "Where's the number plate? I'm going to confiscate this." The man walks away quietly and goes and buys another boda boda and comes and says, "I am unstoppable, you couldn't stop me." So when you are doing this research and when you look at all that written about this, do you think we should also put the blame on the people? Because when I read that was the thing I was grappling with. You're dealing with adults. There's one paper that says when people were called for lessons on financial literacy, quote unquote, very, very interesting thing I always say, quote unquote, is that people are saying, we're not going to teach us how to spend our money. So when they're given the money is blown up into days. Is that about the government? Is that about...
It's about the government.
It's about the government.
No, because the government moving them. It's government, because you see what government did, what I call state hesitance. The government is moving from this plot of land because the government has power to move me. It's not like government can tell you, I want you to get out from this place and I'm going to put you there and I will pay you or I'll compensate you. It's not like the government who can do that. Now, I didn't wake up to say I'm selling my plot.
I was pushed to sell it.
That's different. So the government mixes up this relationship. Moving me from my place is your power as the government. When giving me my money, it becomes a market relationship. So the relationship switches because the government is hesitant. And I spoke to some government people, said managing people's money would be difficult. Either we would steal it or we don't have the human resource to do it. I got a response from, the person who got me thinking was a local LOC 2, maybe 1 chairperson who said to me, what the government had to do, since it has power to move us, it has power to give us money, piecemeal, and follow up on our projects.
That you get
and
gradually
see if we are re-establishing our old lives. Because these are rural people. They've never held huge amounts of money. A man went mad, he lost his head in a bank.
Because they gave him so much money and he was like, is that
he
mine?
wanted to confirm. They tell him you have 300 million. And he said it's not true. So he just goes to the bank to test. He says, can you give me 15
million?
Just to confirm that he has 300. Can you give me 15? And the bank manager goes, that's easy. That's the huge cash box sitting there. And they brought him a stash of 50 million of cash. And they put it in front of him. He hadn't gone to pick it. He had gone to confirm that it's his money. And that's the last time he spoke.
He went berserk.
No, that's not fair to say he went berserk, but he lost his head because he was overwhelmed. He entered a different state. He never spoke again. Wow. Now, these are peasants. If you're moving them as the state, you got to be aware that you have so much power over them, including re-establishing their lives. You don't, after moving them, make it look like they were selling land to you. So there's your money. I'm done with you. You make it look like they sold their land to you. They didn't. You moved them. So you still have power over their new lives. So the government stopped at just moving them, paying them. And I said that state hesitance. The state had to carry on. And this LC1 chairperson was really succinct. He said, in other places, they gave us money and watched the way they give money to companies. They don't give you the entire starch. If a company agrees to build a thing and say it will cost 10 million, they don't give the entire $10 million and give it to you. They say in this quarter, we'll give you this.
Per accomplishment.
Exactly.
Accomplish this, you get the accomplishment.
Yeah, exactly. But they didn't do that to people. These poor people who had never... Oh, the stories are crazy, man. The stories are super crazy. And at some point, they start being funny to me.
True. Me too.
Because at one level, they come off as funny.
At another,
you feel the pain
of the other people.
that, you got money and you're poor.
Like the man who lost his mind, then the family had to spend a lot of the money trying to get him resuscitated.
Yes, exactly. I mean, at some point, even the man who bought a bike and went back and bought a new one because the police had confiscated the one with that plate. It's not funny. The humor stops at some point,
and then you begin
and you
to
feel
think that,
sad. As a man who married 6 women,
yeah,
monthly, every month, one woman. By the time he went to do field work, he had remained with one.
because the others, the money went.
He had done 6 weddings, 6 big weddings. People were feeding their dogs with soda. To say, you dog, we were displaced together. Can you drink some? I'm telling people were washing their hands with beer.
Wow.
Just to say, the people are taking kids out of school to say, why are you going to school?
have
You're looking
money.
for money. Money has come, so you stop going to school.
Wow.
So the state they mismanaged the relationship. The relationship was state power, state relationship. The only way you can move me because you're the state.
But in any case,
But then after that, you made a
the empire
transaction.
And the empire was in this, at the thick of this, right?
No, because also, and I think this is where the democracy part comes in to say that, when you have your human resource and your country as small as Uganda, just out of colonialism, you need everybody. You need every brain you train at the table. You don't divide yourselves into,
Opposition government.
Yeah, you need every brain on the table.
Okay.
You need to build together. I can guarantee you, some of the people who are giving money were well-meaning, but they didn't have the super analysis to say, wait, we have power over these people to move them in the first place.
We should do
We
it.
need to manage their transition.
Okay.
Some of them, they don't have that analysis because the little earnings is the thing, and this is what we've done, that we have some of our best brains at Makerere University, marked regime change intellectuals. We never integrate them into these conversations. We have people who maybe associate with the FDC, brilliant minds. Many, even from technical institutions. We have brilliant minds at Makerere in different, in the civil society organizations. We never bring them to the fold when we're having these conversations.
I hear you.
Because they have to. This is what happens in China. That's why, the China model is very attractive. That if you are an academic at the level of head of a department, you are a de facto member of the
CPC,
of the
Chinese Communist Party.
Communist Party. Because they don't want your membership. They want your brains.
To come and build the party.
They want your special. If they say, we have a deal with Uganda, they will look for the guy who is a specialist on Uganda.
It doesn't matter if you're opposition.
It doesn't matter
if you're government. Doesn't matter if you hate us.
Educate us. What should we do with Uganda? And then the guy will give them his expertise, and then the CCP will sit and say, so, this is what we know. How do we move?
All right. Okay. So thank you, Yusuf. How much is this? 50,000?
I think so.
50,000.
Should be.
So this should also be available at Makerere.
I think so, yes.
Should be available
at Makerere University.
At Makerere University.
Maiza.
Yeah. Makerere Institute of Social Research. That's just at the gate as you enter. You turn left towards Law School Complex, somewhere there. So please look out for this book. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting discussion papers here. And yeah, like Yusuf said, bittersweet. Some of them seem funny until they're not funny anymore.
And it's because I spoke just about my paper.
There are many more. They're about women,
but all the
schools,
land grabs and schools, children going to school, the struggles of women.
Yeah.
Because men were marrying. What do we do? I mean, one brilliant woman knew her husband had a girlfriend and advised him to marry her as a way of thanking him for not wasting the money. The agents say, see, if all the men are doing it, maybe my husband's going to do it at one point.
So let me just preempt that.
The research of that paper, Dr. Doreen Kopsinje, maybe I shouldn't say this, realized her husband's girlfriend was not as beautiful as she is. So that's the reason why.
Okay, so thank you very much. Look out for this book. Hope you love it as I do. As I did, and I still do. So thank you very much, Yusuf. It was a great pleasure having you. And I hope that when you author the next book, which I think should be around the corner, we'll have you again. So if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like this video.
I should announce the next title. The book I'm working on is about Palestine and Africa's intellectual political quagmire. Palestine has thrown us in a turmoil. People who love international law now are wondering,
Does it exist?
does it hold? People who espouse ideas of democracy,
Does it hold?
do they make sense?
Yeah.
And not because when we didn't know these things don't really hold, but Palestine has really exposed the world.
Okay. So let me just say this as well in regard to that at law school that discussion has always been there that is international law. Like it's like who enforces it? Is there a police to enforce it and all that? Yeah. We shall host you when you have that book ready and we'll be here to have you again. Thank you very much, Yusuf.
That's a wrap for this episode of Voice in Print. The stories don't end when the book closes. They live on in the minds of the readers. Stay curious, keep exploring until we meet again to uncover more voices behind the pages. For the latest episodes, subscribe to the YouTube channel or listen to the podcast on all podcast streaming platforms.